Excuse me, is this seat taken? No? Okay, good, great. Man, what a beautiful day in this wonderful country that is the United States. The sun is beating on my back. I'm out here with my fellow man, touching grass, just watching a good old-fashioned game of ball. Oh, that one's mine over there. No, the really scraggly, scrawny one, Timmy. Yeah, little Timmy. Which one's yours? Looks like Timmy's got some rough competition. Oh man, yeah. He's not good at sports, let me tell you. You seeing the fireworks later tonight? Oh, for me? Thank you so much. Nothing like cracking open a cold one with the boys, am I right? Oh god, that's some good stuff. Yeah, we've been launching the fireworks for the past 2 weeks at our house. You know, we're a really patriotic group. And it's just pregame music. It's just incredible. I don't know if you watch TV. Everything is streaming services these days. But I was watching TV and there was this truck commercial, and I don't know, there's just something about that song that really reminds me of a truck commercial. I love driving trucks, let me tell you. People say it's not safe. It's
attention, can I have everyone's attention, please? You, sir, in the dorky getup with the checky ass sunglasses.
Sorry, this is my favorite part.
Sir.
Oh my god, we're about to sing the national anthem.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today to watch some ball. If you would, please remove your caps and place your hand over your hearts as we join together to sing the national anthem of the United States of America.
What happened to the American flag?
Did you hear me? Play the fucking
Living inside to get me by. 20 years in bed, 20 years in the government, 20 years could never get me by.
Oh my god, they got me! Fuck, I gotta get out of here!
So, fun fact, it actually is my birthday today, June 28th. I turn 24 today. I just got back from work. It's been a pretty decent day. You know, I feel secure in myself. I feel loved. My family has gotten me care packages with snacks and gift cards so I can eat. Grayson Chance got me Haymaker, which is a really great song. You guys should check it out. Tyler Joseph gave me the Clancy Tour set list with Lavish being played while Josh is shirtless. And the United States has been, you know, just so kind, so thoughtful, so gracious to give me not only one, but 2 presents. Not only did they give me the just wonderful, graceful debate last night between the 2 proto-fascist dinosaurs that nobody fucking likes or wants to see in office. Not only did we get that, but also the Supreme Court has decided to give me personally the okay to criminalize homelessness. Let's fucking go, dude! And finally, last but certainly not least, Imagine Dragons has decided to gift me, and me specifically, Loom. I consider myself like a pretty solid fan of Imagine Dragons. You cannot call me a casual fan because my personal history with this band is too deep and my knowledge of their discography is too wide for that. I've been listening to them for 11 years now. They were a core part of my personality, going from middle school into early high school. Like, I was there for the rollout of Smoke and Mirrors. I saw them live for Smoke and Mirrors. I am wearing a Smoke and Mirrors shirt, okay? So, for any fans watching, for all intents and purposes, I am one of you. That being said, however, I cannot in good faith call myself a fire breather because, my tastes have changed, evolved, per se. I don't even know if Imagine Dragons has a target demographic anymore, but if they do have one, I'm probably outside of it now. That being said, I do always keep an eye on what they're up to, because once you cement yourself as a core part of my personality for any period in time, I'm not going anywhere. Even if I disagree with some of the artistic directions that they take, or scratch my head at some of the detours that they go on. So real quick, to establish myself and get you acquainted with my tastes, how I would rank each project, I would go, let's see, It's Time EP, Smoke and Mirrors,
Nope, scratch that. Reverse it.
Hell and Silence, Imagine Dragons, Night Visions, Mercury Act 1. I'd say that Evolve and Origins are tied. And then Mercury Act 2, dead last. Oh my god, that album sucked. It sucked. Mercury as a whole is just really thematically incoherent, and it pisses me off so much because there was really something interesting there about Dan's personal struggles and, themes about mortality, addiction, love, loss, and then you had songs like Higher Ground and Symphony and I Don't Like Myself, which sound like parodies of Imagine Dragons songs, so I'm not really sure how to feel about this album going in. I did actually enjoy Eyes Closed, surprisingly. Yeah, I mean, it kind of is just another Imagine Dragons song, but personally, I think it works. I cannot say the same about Nice to Meet You. Or Nice to Meet Ya. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to check it. Yeah. Okay, so it is Nice to Meet You, but that's not how he pronounces it in the song. Anyways, so I actually did see the Twitter promo or the Instagram, the social media promo basically that Dan posted of the song.
Anyway, it's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Anyway, it's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet me. Anyway, it's nice to meet you. I hope to see you. Anyway, it's nice to meet you.
And I thought, oh, this sounds different. Okay, I can maybe vibe to this. But the thing is, it doesn't sound like an Imagine Dragons song. It sounds bad. So yeah, I really don't know what I'm getting myself into. A phrase that I've been seeing pop up repeatedly with this album's rollout is that the band just want us to feel something while listening to this album.
They feel something when they listen to it. They connect with something within themselves. Remember something that moves them. Feel. That's all that I hope for others.
Be it joy, sadness, anger, disappointment. Hopefully nothing. Hopefully you don't feel nothing while listening to this music. Finally. That unscripted part was overhead to do take after take. Now I can just react. Alright, let me just get the lyrics pulled up on Genius here. Imagine Dragons. Balloon. Genius. There we go. Okay. Wake up. Alright, first song, Wake Up. Ooh, that ducker. Okay. Interesting. Okay, that was kind of goofy. Yep. Cold chameleon.
Take a chainsaw out and feed it.
Oh my god.
bad. So I'd say as an opening track, that was pretty weak. I'd say it's their weakest opener since Bones off of Mercury Act 2. So not a super great sign so far, but it's not bad by any means. I really like the ad-lib that he did for Spinnin'. Because that just implies that it's just like spinning around, but then he attached that same ad-lib to like other words, and then it got real corny real fast. I did not enjoy that. I do get what it's going for though. You know, wake up, something's looming. Alright, next, into my favorite song ever, Nice to Meet You, yay! See, when I first listened to the song, this part sounded kind of neat, like really unique for them. I thought it was kind of cool. But then the rest of the song ruins it. Just like the vocal performance, like there's no reason he needs to be belting like that. The song does not require that kind of vocal performance, and just that shrieking synth sounds awful. This mix is just terrible. Which is a shame because if you look past the glaringly just atrocious parts, it's got like a bit of a funky groove to it. And what there's no notation on that. Oh my god. Oh, hold up. Painting on the wall is something freaky. Oh my god, dude. I don't like that. There's way too much ketchup on my plate. That is so awful. I hate everything about it. That harmony is really pretty though, I will admit that. I really love when Jan Reynolds utilizes like this really airy falsetto. It sounds gorgeous, dude. Yeah, I hate that song sucks. Let's go! So I do get what that song is going for, because, you know, it's just being about entering the dating scene and just everything that comes with that. But the problem is, it has, like the subject matter is awkward, the lyrics do a job at conveying that, but then the instrumental, it's got, like, this, like, cheeky swagger to it, and it just doesn't work at all. It feels really gross. Anyway, it's time to finally get into some good shit. Eyes closed. Hell yeah, brother. They say that angels are among us. Strap it in my car, put it up my hand, put it in toes. Let's manifestation, mantras, meditation, throw it all away. That harmony was really dope. Like, chant the light. That was off pitch, but like the way it like split up, that was pretty dope. My eyes closed. Alright, I actually have a lot to say about this song, but I just finished my nuggies, so I will be right back. Now, Let's see, what kind of cake did I get? Okay. Oh! They're like cupcakes. Okay. This is actually pretty dope. I don't know if I'm gonna have room for all of these, but fuck it, we ball. The thing about Eyes Closed that it absolutely is a stereotypical lead single off of an upcoming Imagine Dragons album that it's like loud and dramatic and Dan Reynolds is screaming in your ear. I mean, that is kind of expected at this point. I do wish they would deviate from that formula, but you know, whatever works for them. But then you have to remember the context that this song is coming out of, because Mercury was a previous Imagine Dragons record, and as any fan would know, there were a lot of things going on in his life at that time. He was facing a lot of hardship, you know, dealing with addiction, dealing with losing friends, losing family, and then after that album's release, dealing with divorcing from his wife. So just all of that context adding into it. So you have a song that like sounds like it has a lot of swagger, just like this like Imagine Dragons bombast. It's like, yeah, taking on the world, let's go. But then you read the lyrics and he's like, yo, my life has been terrible right now, but you know what? I'm used to terrible. In fact, I am so used to it that I can navigate life with my eyes closed at this point. So forget about all of the things that could possibly help me feel better. You know, forget about medications, meditating, you know, like things that could convince me, tell myself that things are gonna be okay. No, forget about that. I know what I'm doing. And that's dark. That's kind of dark. Like, once you, like, take another glance at it, which, I mean, I know with artists that write, more depressing lyrics that, fans are sometimes like when artists, get at a more stable point in their lives and, like, their music changes, like, just, like, naturally, just, like, as a part of getting older, and you're never going to appease anyone, so I will never advocate for, like, artists should be sad in order to make good art, because that's just really ridiculous and disrespectful. That being said, I do really appreciate the acknowledgement, because acknowledging these negative emotions and, you know, just acknowledging that they're real just adds, like, substance to it. Not to say that, like, positive art can't have substance, but it's just really nice to hear, and it gives you something to think about. Dog, this is so good. This is so fucking good, oh my god. Listen, I know that Fantano was kind of clowning on him for bringing back wubs, but I think it's brave. I think it's a bold move, and personally, I find it welcome. I think pop music should bring back the wubs. Bring them back. Alright, so I ran into some technical difficulties using Photo Booth. It might have been because my computer was just having a stroke, but basically if the videos got too long, then they would just automatically be saved as corrupted, and I don't think there's any way to fix them. So then what I am going to do is that I am going to attempt to fill in the gaps. So basically, what's going to happen is that I am going to react to the songs that I did, but the video footage, it's just gone now, which really sucks that you won't get to see my initial reaction. But, you know, it's whatever. There's nothing we can really do about it. I am pulling up the lyrics right now. Like, I'm really bummed out. This is not how I want tonight to go. Now I gotta listen to this fucking garbage. Anyways, this is Take Me to the Beach, track 4. It doesn't sound as bad second time around, but I still don't like it. Ugh. Oh, right, now that I'm hearing this again, so what I had said the first time around, that I didn't like this chorus initially, but listening to it, like, as the song was, going on, I did see a bit of charm in it. It feels like whole inside our chests in some way, like the way that the chorus is kind of spoken, like how the verses are spoken in that song. It gives a similar vibe that adds a bit of charm to the song. But I mean, Take Me to the Beach, it's still not good, don't get me wrong. I don't know, just something I wanted to say about that. It's been interesting through the years how Imagine Dragons has been responding to the sellout allegations, and just progressively getting more and more bitter about it. Like, he's talking about how he doesn't owe anyone a penny. You know, he doesn't want to hear you preach. He's not gonna be on a leash. I do think that they do have the integrity to take whatever artistic direction that they themselves, the band, want to. I don't think they're going in this direction because of outside pressure. I think they're going in this direction because they genuinely want to, which is so funny because they're just veering more and more towards that mainstream direction, which is what some critics are against. So I don't know, it's just really ironic how that works. Oh, what I was saying with my initial reaction, he sounds mad as hell. Like, he sounds pissed. He must have been in the studio fuming when he recorded that. And that spelling section just sucks, dude. This chorus is kind of bopping, though. I won't lie. Yeah, listening to it again a second time, I mean, there have always been themes of isolation, like the isolation that comes with fame in Imagine Dragons music. Gold is the earliest instance of that happening, and then isolation, that was a theme we definitely heard in Mercury. Easy Come Easy Go is the first song that comes to mind in regards to that. Oh, the thing I want to say, this does not sound like a song that I'd want to play on my way to the beach. Are you kidding? That sounds awful. You know what I would rather do? I would rather have my Bluetooth connected between my phone and my car speaker, and play that one Regional and Fest behind the scenes video where Tyler and Josh are on a beach in Michigan.
So just grab a pack of tacos, grab a tall boy of some sort of lemonade, and just, you know, drink in the fact that you're on a beach in Michigan.
I would rather have that playing on repeat on my way to the beach than ever touch this song with a 10-foot pole. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, track 5, In Your Corner, makes me immediately think of, I was actually listening to Mercury today, but, like, not in album order. I made a playlist specifically for the soul. There's a rainbow outside! Oh my god! Yo, it's my birthday and the 55th anniversary of Stonewall, and there's a rainbow outside? I feel blessed. Truly fucking blessed, dude. I thank the Lord Shira above every single fucking day that I am alive! Alright, I've run into a problem. So it sounds like it's been an issue for other people and Apple just hasn't fucking fixed it in 2 years, but apparently if a video you've recorded in Photo Booth exceeds a certain length, then that video is automatically corrupted. So I am going to see if there's something I can do to fix it. But otherwise I'm just going to carry on with the rest of the reaction, and I'm going to have to make sure that I watch my times, which really
fucking sucks. I shouldn't have to go through hurdles for a fucking photo booth on Mac. That is just absurd. Alright, so the next song that I recorded my initial reaction for, but then photo booth kind of fucked it up. It was In Your Corner. So that title immediately reminds me of the one lyric in I'm Happy. You know, like, it's presumably Asia, like how she was always in Dan's corner cheering him on. Then I'm not sure if there's, like, that specific wording, but I know, like, definitely Follow You gives that vibe of him being in her corner as well. Anyways, we're gonna re-react to this song. I remember it kind of hitting. Very interesting synth. It's dark. I think this was the first song that I said that it would have hit me hard when I was 18. Right. Oh my gosh, that bothers me so much. You cannot just say fade to black and then have a sudden cutout and then have the instruments suddenly cut back in again. You cannot fucking do that. If you're gonna have a fade to black lyric, either don't acknowledge it, or if you're actually gonna cut out, you gotta fade out. That drives me nuts. Oh my god. Anyways. These ad-libs in the post-chorus, oh my god, yeah. Yeah, the way that, like, that, the lowered pitched voice says, keep your hands up, like, and, like, repeats, it's like, I'm sorry, are you a fucking cop?
Hey, Cap!
Why is this in the song? Oh yeah, I know I was talking during it, but that second verse is heartbreaking. Just, like, turning to drugs to deal with these intense emotions. That's rough, buddy. I'm not sure if those ad-libs are necessary. I don't think they needed to add that texture there. But even if they insisted on adding that texture, couldn't they have thought of something else to say that would make more sense? Because, like, what do you mean? Okay, hold on makes sense, but keep your hands up. That doesn't make any sense. Something that I did say is that I think this song would play pretty well live, like in a live setting, but it just sounds weird. It's really tacky. Yeah, and like the get up. Like this very obviously to me sounds like a song that's meant to be played live, but it's just like these shouting vocals over these gorgeous strains, it doesn't work. Like those strains have so much depth, and then just that like twinkling piano sprinkled on top of it, like this is beautiful. Like there are good ideas here. I'd say that sonically, I mean, there are some moments where things don't sound good, but there are a lot of interesting ideas throughout this record. It's the fact that they do have these moments of sparkle, but it's just overshadowed by just, I don't know how to say it. It's just kind of disappointing. Okay, next song, Gods Don't Play. Okay, I don't know, just to address some sort of elephant in the room, I guess. This track could really be helped by a plasmin drumming. I'm not going to presume or just, like, egg on that question of,
where he's at, but I don't know. This could really use some good old Platzman drumming instead of whatever the hell this beat is. Wow. Yeah, he really was fuming in the studio recording this album. Oh my god. Oh, this is really good. The cupcake, not the song. Good. I gotta do a quick transition, which is super annoying because Mac doesn't fucking work! You know what I just realized? It sounds like a fucking Panic at the Disco song. Especially this. Just like the gross pettiness and just the off-kilter theatricality of it. And like the arrogance of it, just, yeah. If you like made an AI cover and put Brandon Urie's voice on top of this, and I never listened to this song before, but you showed me that cover and you told me that this was a new Panic at the Disco song, I would believe you 100%, dude. I hated that. It's like, oh, look at me. Like, I'm just on top of everything, dude. I'm on top of everyone, dude. Just, I'm unstoppable. Wow, look at me. Ooh, but I also hate it because it's so rough to be me. And like, totally not to like say that like you like can't be successful and like, you know, you can still be successful and like deal with the depression and stuff like that. I am not here to invalidate everyone's struggles, but it's just like, really, this is the angle you want to take? Really? Feels so bitter. This album feels really bitter, and I feel kind of gross listening to it. Is that what they were trying to accomplish? Like, yeah, I feel something. I feel gross. I guess another point I talked about was that, this album cover that they have for Loom, it's, like, really bright and colorful, but yet the album feels dark, and, they haven't done anything like that before. So for Smoke and Mirrors, for example, you had, the hands bound together releasing the bird. That was, like, extremely emblematic of what that album was about. Then with Night Vision, you had the man standing on the towers and staring out into, like, this purplish, grayish, abyss. You know, very emblematic of what Night Visions was. Just, like this, like, kind of darker atmosphere with a bit more of a techno feel. And, like being above that, that is very much what Night Visions is about. And then with Evolve, that is even more, like, techno-y in its album cover, because you have the darkness, surrounding, like, this, one beam of light, and the man is rising up, so, he's, like, rising up despite these, like, dark circumstances, through music, which is his light, and, like, the tiles, like, the dark tiles that gives, like, that, shows, like, the more electronic feel that album has, especially in its, production. Origins is kind of interesting, because that one is definitely more electronic, but it also had, like, nature on the album covers, so, cyberpunk isn't the right word for it. I know there's, like, an actual word for it, but that, mix of, like, nature and technology that you would see in, like, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, for example, I think, the album's sound was quite emblematic of that, and then Mercury was just a fucking mess, and the album cover is bland, so that's one outlier there. Yeah, but Loom is just very different and weird, and I don't know what to make of it. I think everyone had a collective sigh of relief when they revealed that Loom was only gonna be 10 tracks, because just ignore the double album that Mercury was for a second. Act
2 alone was so fucking bloated. It did not need 18 tracks. There is no timeline where that album needed 18 songs. Alright, next song. Don't Forget Me. Don't forget about. Oh, guitar. Okay. Pop off, Wayne. Oh, I am a sucker for this feel. I think I'm gonna like this one. Oh, this would have wrecked me. This would have wrecked me when I was 18, dude. Fuck. I don't even know where to start with this. Oh, I like that. That call and response, I really like that a lot. Sometimes Imagine Dragons will repeat parts of words. The most obvious example, you could call it a glaring example. Sometimes they'll have they'll repeat part of a word as this call and response in the chorus, and it doesn't really work in a lot of cases, but it really works here. I am really enjoying this. Alright, so I'm actually moving this over to my phone because we're just having a lot of technical difficulties on the Mac, which is really unfortunate. I thought this was going to go a lot smoother. Ah, God. I hope I can get that footage uncorrupted, because this is really not good. Alright, well, that aside, we're just gonna try to finish this album the best we can. Oh, first I am gonna have to do a sound check, though, and make sure that the balance is okay. So, let's see. Let me get the album queued up again here. Okay. Just with my eyes closed, bro. Back from the dead, from the back of my head. Been gone and facing horrors that can never be said. They say tomorrow's never promised, honest. They say that angels are among us. Turn out the lights. Get up and turn it. Just go with the keys, don't worry about me. I was driving in my car, going up my ass, pretty close. I could do this with my eyes closed. Turn out the lights. Turn out the lights. Alright, next. I can't see my mouse. Hello? Okay, next song. Kid. Yeah. Okay. That's weird. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, faster than my bullet. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run. I totally did not listen to that second verse. Oh my god, wait. Let me pull it back. Oh, how American, you think you're born to be better? I don't know how much self-awareness I actually have on that topic. I just read ahead at the Bridges lyrics. What the fuck? What are they on about? That harmony sounded very scary. This sounds very, Death of a Bachelor. Oh, my mom just texted me happy birthday.
That was a song by Imagine Dragons. I know they were saying that, like, after Mercury, they finally found their identity, but this... I mean, I can't, like, speak like I know the artist better than the artists themselves, but holy shit, dude. This is... unfamiliar. Yeah, so I feel gross, discombobulated, sad. Yeah. Okay. Fire in These Hills. I know this was one that they were hyping up and really excited for. So, let's get into it. Oh, that vocal delivery. Fuck. Oh my god. Ooh. Oh, this also would have wrecked me when I was 18. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. The fucking Next to Me reference? Are you kidding me? Until she wasn't. Oh my god. I actually kind of want to cry right now. This is really making me sad. Oh, that piano line. I am like suckers for like twinkling octaves that follow the melody line. Oh my god. The more we try, the more we fail. Like the relationship just being destined to not work out, but you try anyway because you think that trying will get it to work out. Fuck, that makes me really sad, man. Okay. Yeah. God. Oh wait, that's it? That's the album? Because track 10 is Eyes Closed J Balvin remix, and I've already heard that. I'm not gonna react to that. So it's 9, because that does work as an album closer, but it doesn't feel... I don't know. So a really short album, because Spotify is saying it's 31 minutes, 31 seconds. But then you take off about 3 of those minutes for the J Balvin remix. That takes it down to 28. About 28 minutes. That's... for an Imagine Dragons project, that's like an album. Like a proper album, not an EP. That's nuts. Alright, I'm gonna come back when I work out what I want to say about this. Okay, so, the bad tracks. They were bad. Like, they were so egregiously bad. Like, you know, before I was thinking that I would rank this before Mercury Act 2, but I am not confident in that assessment, because while this project is definitely more thematically coherent, this is a band that I don't really recognize. I do see what they're trying to do with this project. You know, Dan's coming out of a really hard place, and like it cannot be easy putting that all to paper and making music on it. So, you know, no matter how much I shit on the music, I will always respect this band because I know that they stand for good things. But yeah, just some really weird, interesting decisions made. There is a place for bitterness in art, but it's really tricky to toe the line of, like, it being tolerable, if that makes sense. And of course, it obviously depends on the listener and where they're at in life, because, like, if I were 17 and freshly going through my shit, I might feel slightly different about this album, but even then, I'm not sure. Because this is probably unrelated, but I've tried giving NF, the rapper,
a try. I've tried listening to a couple of his projects, probably like a couple years ago, actually, like in my early 20s, years after everything that went down. I didn't like how that music made me feel, because there's certainly a place for depressing music like that, and you know, if I hear Time, I will always bump that shit, but I don't know, like, even not being in that place, it didn't make me feel good listening to it, and even if I were in that place back then, I don't think it was something that I would, like, enjoy listening to, if that makes sense, and I'm feeling, not as strong, but kind of a similar way about this project. But I know it must have been therapeutic, and it's, like, personal, but at the same time, it's, like, generic also, which was a big struggle that I've had with Mercury, because you would have like these really generic songs and these really like poignant emotional moments just like back to back over and over again throughout the album track run, and that got really annoying. But now what you have is that you have like this like really strong tangible emotion, but then in execution it just, I don't know. I know I'm rambling. I'm probably not doing the best job of explaining my thoughts, but I don't know. So Eyes Closed is a banner. Unironically, I will defend Eyes Closed. Okay. What were the other songs that I liked? Fire in These Hills, that was gone. That was good. Don't Forget Me. That one was probably my favorite. Did I like In Your Corner? I think I did. Here, let me play that one again. In Your Corner is okay. I don't see myself going back to it, but I can definitely tolerate it. Worst song, Still Nice to Meet You. That song fucking sucks. Gods Don't Pray, that one was, not good. Take Me to the Beach, that song sucked. Well, it didn't suck, it was just, yeah. Yeah, this is definitely their weakest project so far. And to be honest, I don't see them ever turning it around. You know, there was a glimmer of hope with Mercury Act 1, but then Mercury Act 2 happened, and they said, oh yeah, we know where we're going now, and this is where they're going. I think I'm gonna hop off. Peace.